morning everyone and good morning Dr. Harsha. I will be presenting my project proposal for the final year project. So first of all, let me introduce to you the title of my project. It will be the efficacy of cooperative learning in improving speaking skills of adult ESL learners in a higher education institute in Sri Lanka. So let me first of all define what my topic is. So efficacy is where we actually talk about the ability to provide the expected outcome. So I'll be checking how cooperative learning, where this is actually defined by defined in one of the researches done by Johnson. So according to him, he says that when students work in small groups to not only augment their learning but also to augment each other's learning. So I'll be actually focusing on adult ESL learners. According to Pinter, an adult learner is someone who has come to learn with a purpose. So I believe that when I'm implementing this research, when I'm starting this research, that the adult ESL learners will not have much distractions as they come to the classroom with a purpose to learn. And yes, I'll be doing it at a higher education institute in Sri Lanka. So let me run you through the outline of my presentation. First of all, I'll introduce you my research proposal, the entire research, and I'll be checking on the literature review that I've done, my research questions, the hypothesis, and the research design and methodology, and finally I'll show you the action plan, a tentative action plan that I've made for my research. So first of all, I'll introduce my research under these particular topics. The background for my research is actually through one of the modules that we did. When we were learning about how to teach English to young learners, we came across this theory which was presented by Lev Vygotsky. And in that, we learned about cooperative learning, how cooperative learning helps speaking more than individual tasks. And so that actually set the background for my research. And from there on, the significance of this research that I am trying to conduct. I will explain to you, I have found some researches done in Sri Lanka that shows that adult learners, especially the learners who are in universities, there is an existence of reticence when it comes to speaking in classes. So I'll prove it to you with the researches that I have read. So the significance of my research is, though they have found out these issues, they have not tried much as to what they can do to support learners overcome the reticence that they show in speaking. So the significance is that if my research proves to be right, or whatever the results that we get, we as teachers know if we can use cooperative learning or not use cooperative learning in order to improve speaking skills. So that will be the significance, and my objectives will be to actually encourage learners to speak more, to check the effectiveness of cooperative learning, and also to make to see if interactions between learners actually help improve speaking skills, and also finally to add some knowledge to the field of education through the research results. So the literature review I did based on these two sections. So first of all, the theoretical background, because what I am doing is connected to a theory. So I cannot actually deny that or neglect that. So I will be studying on that theory as well, the theory presented by the psychologist Lev Vygotsky in 1986. And the previous studies I had found both empirical and theoretical, and also my researches that I studied when I did the literature review are not only from local context. There are researchers that I have mainly focused on, 4 researchers, both local and non-global context. So the main findings that I got will explain to you why I formulated the research questions that I am going to present to you. So the first thing, the existence of reticence, mainly due to different perceptions that they have. This was actually done by a researcher called Ratnasiri. So he has actually done this research in one of the state universities in Sri Lanka, and he has confirmed through his findings that there is existence of reticence.
One of our students.
Okay.
Lanka.
So this actually backs up my research as well, because I am actually trying to improve speaking. So this is a problem that they have identified. And for each point that I presented here, let me show you the gap. So they have done this in state universities, but I will be doing it in a private university. And socio-cultural factors that have contributed immensely to increase the learner's interest. So socio-cultural, the interactions, that's what they are talking about. So my research is also cooperative learning, where I'll be talking about interactions. But the thing is, they have not set properly, like the context that they have used, the participants that they have used are not the same participants that I'll be using. So that's another gap. Cooperative learning has augmented learner engagement in ESL classroom. This is a research done in China by Mr. Meng. So this is again testing cooperative learning, but outside the contents. Now I am testing it in Sri Lanka, so that's the gap that I found there. Cooperative learning is effective in improving speaking skills and learn attitude towards the use of cooperative learning. Again, this was also done in the school context, not in universities, again outside Sri Lanka. So I have global and also local researchers done. So I have shown you the gaps.
Quoted Vijay Sen. Learning. Okay.
So with the literature review, I have come up with a problem statement, research questions, and a hypothesis. So the problem statement, there's a greater demand now when we talk about the global context, globalization and everything has actually demanded us and pushed us to improve our speaking skills, because we need to communicate with not only local people, even in local context we need to have some level of communication in English. So, and the more specific problem that I have understood from the research that I did is that there is an existence of reticence among adult ESL learners. So this problem led me to create these research questions. My main research question is, I will be testing the effectiveness of cooperative learning to improve speaking skills of adult ESL learners in the chosen context. To support my main research questions, I have formulated two sub-research questions where I will be checking which interactions will support speaking skills and which interactions will challenge speaking skills. I did this because I don't know if cooperative learning is effective. So I can't say that I support cooperative learning. So I want to see if it's going to support or actually challenge. Because let me tell you something. We have our fair share of doing group activities. Normally we end up talking about ourselves or day-to-day things than actually talking about anything related to the studies that we have to do. So I cannot say that my research will 100% be okay. So I am anticipating certain challenges. So I'll be checking these things and I'll compare to see, I'll be checking their language related episodes and I'll compare to see if they were supported more or if they were challenged more with the cooperative learning activities that I do. So my hypothesis is that if cooperative learning is implemented in an adult ESL classroom, it will improve their speaking skills. So my independent variable is cooperative learning because that's the thing that's under my control and that's the thing that I am implementing. And my dependent variable will be the improvement of their speaking skills, which I will show you how I will test. So my methodology, basically this is an action research because I will be testing the effectiveness through action. So the methodology that I have chosen is a mixed research methodology where I will be taking qualitative as well as quantitative data. So this is a breakdown of my methodology. So for the main research question, I will use quantitative data. I will be having a pre-test and a post-test. Let me make this clear to you. So to keep the other variables constant, for my pre-test and my post-test, the activity will be similar. What I will be doing is asking them to do a picture description. First time they will have to do it individually. 2 minutes will be given. 25 participants are there. Each person will have to describe a different picture just in 2 minutes. Then I will separate them into groups of 5 because I have 25 participants, and they will in groups have to talk about a particular picture. So each member of that group has to say at least 2 sentences about the group, about the picture. So they have to discuss within the groups where I expect to see their language related episodes if the cooperative learning will help their language accuracy to be improved. So the data collection tool will be observation and assessments. I have a rubrics. I have actually attached it to the appendix, the rubrics that I will be using, and I'll be analyzing my data with descriptive statistics, because I will be tabulating them and putting them into a graph, and I'll try to find the average score. So I'll be presenting them in a line graph. So I'll have two line graphs for the pre-test as well as for the post-test, so that with the line graph I can analyze if their score has improved after cooperative learning was implemented. So for my sub-research questions, both of them are like opposite but can be done with the same types of data, with the same data collection tool, and I'll be doing thematic analysis because I'm trying to find a pattern of interaction, of how interactions support or challenge their speaking skills. And when I interpret the data that I collect qualitatively, I'll be basing them on the scaffolding theory, where there's a theory that says when peer interactions are allowed, they will add more knowledge and they will have their zone of proximal developments, that area developed to get the highest potential that they can achieve in learning. So this is my tentative action plan. So right now today we are submitting the research proposal. So I plan to have my ethical clearance done and the conduction of lesson within these 2 weeks. And yeah, that's all. So these are my references. Also I must mention that the methodology that I am following, I refer to Dr. Harsha's improvement of product through process research, and that was actually basically about improving his writing skills, so I adapted it to improve speaking skills of learners. Yes, that is all. Thank you.
It's also again a very well thought research proposal. That is also good. But may I tell you some where you have gone wrong? Not wrong actually. The thing is that day I think in the class also we talked about it. Now we are doing another way to justify your research is that I mean most of the Sri Lankan system speaking skill is neglected, right? Neglected because of the examining, because our two public examinations are not testing as in speaking. So because of that we have the negative washback effect, and teaching of listening and speaking, those skills are neglected in classrooms, and also speaking is one of the main skills that is required for job market, etc., etc. And so justify it that way also, right? That is, and also your literature review lacks these parts, which is very, very important. If you follow Vijay Sekara's research, right? I'm referring to Vijay Sekara, means my one. If you following it, you can see that how she has used second language acquisition theories, right? Because you are using the overarching learning theory, socio-cultural learning theory, but since you are talking about English language acquisition or learning, please use second language acquisition theories, so you can locate second language acquisition theories within the overarching theory of socio-cultural learning, right? For example, if you are going to now in your literature survey talk about language related episodes also, you say that no, because you must have referred to that article. It's a small article, no, it's not a big research, it's a big research, but small article based on that research, right? So, because of that, the literature review there is limited. So, I think, but that article talks about that also.
Yes.
So, include literature survey, second language action theories, and language related episodes, right? Metaphor. So, talking about language, right? So there you can see, especially IIO, input, interaction, output, and especially during the interaction, the things like focus on form, consciousness tracing, negative feedback, comprehensible input. All these things may be provided by peers. in a cooperative group setup, right? So deal with all these things. If you are following Vijay Sekhar's methodology, follow that also, and explicitly you need to not say it at the very beginning.
Yes, madam.
Not there.
I actually wrote the references.
Yeah.
And,
Not the references, on the reference list also it's not there.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And also you don't have to say Dr. Harshadulari Vijay Sekhar. You say Vijay Sekhar 2013, right? That is how you say all this. And also you need to say it in the introduction also.
Also, okay.
Right. You can say that she has used, I'm following this research, but she has used it for writing skills. I'm doing in my research speaking skill. I mean, except those few things, your research is okay, but now I cannot remember. Yeah. So I cannot remember a very, very important thing. The thing is related to your activities. Now you said that you are giving 2 minutes on individual activity. And how much time is given for the group activity?
I was planning to give like a preparation, like 5 minutes, because they can just talk and prepare. So each person will be getting 2 sentences.
So you need to give, there must be both things must be compatible. So you give the preparation time for individuals also.